was different. One of the positives about Raw, the format, we weren't just 10-minute promo match. There was segments. There was different matches. Some were actually decent, some were actually good. They were still negatives. Forgettable show. Not really moving the needle over piquing anybody else's interest, but at least the show felt a bit different. Hopefully they keep consistent on this, and I feel like the limit of Raw actually doing consistent episodes that are actually watchable is two. Ugh. And just for the sake of understanding everybody's plead over with my opinion on Brock Lesnar and CM Punk, change it. Change it. Change my opinion. Let's have a conversation. I know one person had a disagreement with my opinion on that video. Hopefully, he gets a better explanation. But what happened was Damian Priest having his generic ass babyface promo being like every babyface does this now. I mean, I understand they want to go over a pop. Usually, like the babyface is just happy to bring up his opponents and be like, whoever wants to stay up to the plate, I'm taking on all comers. It doesn't have to be an open challenge. You just have to call me out and prove that you can do it. Like literally, they're not demonstrating the importance of a title is not just a good match. You just need to like show the star power, show the importance, and just show that there's more to this belt than just having a good match. Cena only did it because you guys just hate superstar wrestlers, and you guys only like indie guys, even though the best title reigns coming out of the U.S. Championship literally have forgettable careers. So Lashley came out, Orton came out, the whole kitchen sink came out, all to issue out title shots. Lashley wants to start belt collecting. That's kind of better than Kenny Omega already. Riddle trying to come around, trying to still think he's cool, even though we know how you say over on Roman Reigns, trying to say, I can beat you in a real fight, bro. The guy you were talking shit out, Goldberg, when you were face to face with him, bro, you looked at him like you were an awkward mark. Shut your ass up, Riddle. You're not a badass. Adam Pearce literally looking weird off the frame, forgetting that he was an authority figure after so many guys went to call out doing a match, issued that for the main event it will be Lashley and MVP against RK Bro for the World Tag Team titles, and I guess the WWE Championship. Not really selling off the main event, even though somebody might come out as the double champion. Could have caused a bit of drama, but I know they don't want to force over uh, their moneymaker, the RK Bro Tag Team, because they're over. Because whenever they pan out to the crowd, they never show the fans actually saying RK Bro. It's always like they're just acknowledging that the show's there. And of course, for United States Championship, after Damian Priest tried to issue for an open challenge, and McIntyre saying that the U.S. title eluded his career, and Sheamus wanted the rematch, they issued that it was going to be a triple threat match later in the show. Fine. Different matches, different interactions. This is why I have positives in shows. You want to show that everybody has a different interaction. Not everything is universe where you always gotta make that bullshit be like, oh, because they're in a feud means that they always gotta interact. Let them intercept to make sure that whenever they collide or interact or have a match, it's more important. That's why different stuff in Ruthless Aggression felt a bit different. Or like any other match. Like they could wrestle somebody else. Honestly, you're gonna have Lashley taunting Goldberg again, or have RK Bro face off against I don't know, Lucha House Party. No, you want to make sure that their tag team matches are important. We had Ripley, and oh my god, as soon as I see a picture, she's doing Shayna Baszler's doing an enziguri, and she immediately slaps her thigh. Honestly, you guys can look it up. And just knowing that this match was just forgettable. Nikki Ash is already a minute afterthought. The lady that's getting booed over in house shows couldn't get herself over because she sucks. now issues of being just a mid carder and now being a cheerleader, even though she never gets segments to herself, and just isn't over. Jax comes around attacking after the match off Ripley in a distraction. And this has been going on all night, so it seems like they've been trying to issue off a breakup with Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax, even though Nia Jax already assaulted Shayna last week, or Shayna just walked away. So they're still teasing it, even though Shayna looked like she had nothing to do with her, and it just looked mad awkward. I don't really care. Nobody really cares. I don't want to see these women twice a night. I don't. Like, so more drama. Sure, Nia faces Charlotte later tonight. That's the most they push over it. Rhea's just there to have her average babyface work rate 15-minute match to waste everybody's time when nobody gets pops over it. Next up, and literally she just walked over out of everybody getting a signal to the main event, and knowing her that she's the circle jerker, and the only way she gets the main events is that she's called a woman. I'm sorry, that sounds disrespectful. I don't give a shit. That's the only way they're pandering over to her being any star potential. That she's a female and she does the same moves that men do. She's nothing special to me. I don't know what's with her. She has no character. And you can push over a woman with eye candy all you want. There's women like Eva Marie, Liv Morgan, a lot of women that could be models. They're not going to be supermodels. Right? Big difference. Like Liv Morgan and Eva Marie can have a good IG picture. They're not going to be in Playboy. They're not going to be in pictures where it's like, oh my god, that lady is really working that thing for the winter. So Shanky, they do a couple power moves to Eric and Ivar. This is technically a handicap match. Don't know where this came over. Knee strike. I think there was a double tope, a big boot spinebuster. Jinder eats a Viking experience. These guys are all jobbers, and this is after they just feuded with the former WWE champion. Like, honestly, the match was not bad, and at least Shanky and Veer got some offense on it. And Jinder looks cool, but they're not guarding over heat. Like, why don't you want your heels to win over strong, especially when they act cowardly? At least give Jinder a weapon or something. Like, I don't care if he cheats to win. Like, he was a former champion. At least make him look like he can outsmart his opponents. Like, this is just pathetic. Every time he's bare minimum on his character, he keeps losing. He's just not a person to get behind. I blame booking over that. I know Jinder's shit, but at least he tries to at least keep his job. Next up, we had good match involving Sheamus and Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre. Oh, like I think it dragged over in the middle part of the match, but the second half, drama ensued. Like you can have like you don't need a triple threat match to be 30 minutes. You don't need a triple threat match to be 25. If you can make a match near 13, 15 in a mid card for a triple threat for a mid card belt, I'm talking about like back in '06 when Benjamin, Rob Van Dam, Johnny Nitro, all the Jeff Hardy, though that was like the top guys for the IC title back in 2006. Best matches on Raw. This was one of them, and it was involving like all these guys were like above 6'2". Big heavyweights. I thought Damian Priest was trying too hard to feel like he's a triple threat, like he's a dual threat. He can do top rope moves, do a springboard moonsault, a top gun hello that looked cool by Drew. A counter off a Claymore. McIntyre spiked Sheamus over with a future shock, then lined up over a Claymore, and it ends with a crossroads on McIntyre. And then it ends with, a code of honor because he tried hard and they're both baby faces. Everybody looked like a star. Fun, good match to push over the baby face. Still don't fuck with Damian Priest, but had a good showing. And I guess they're trying I don't know what's going to be pushed over in the future. Maybe they can be at least trying to push over Drew to the upper mid card to give him more feuds, because we know he didn't drop for the world title. At least he can at least have some direction. Because here's the thing: they need to make sure that everybody's getting involved, especially how minimally roster is. You need to make sure everybody gets involved. I at least respect Vince Russo for that. Even like his declining, like bad, like if you it worked more in TNA than it did in dying WCW, because we blamed Vince Russo even though he got the ratings up for a minimal period of time that he was there. He wasn't there for a calendar year. He was there for like 3 months. And for TNA, he was there for a couple of years, and he got the X division over. Spot Monkey Cruiserweights. You got Motor City Machine Guns, Black Machismo, Sanjay Dutt. Alex Shelley gained charisma being with Kevin Nash, and that's thanks to the writing of Vince Russo, and I respect that. Shark Boy, all these good characters that you still remember back when TNA was still watchable. Vince Russo. You get the mid card involved, you give them more pushover to personality, the more they get over, and that's where real praise for the mid card to be pushed over to the upper card can actually work. Because here's the thing: they don't know how to push over mid carders organically. It's either they have a good match and they're forced to get over because they have a good match, not because of who they are, not the way how they act or how they get over, just because they have a good match. That's why Cesaro does not work. That's why Nakamura does not work. A good match here for the triple threat. Sorry that I had to drag it over, but these guys overrate so many of the mid carders here in WWE, and they should be understanding why they don't watch them every clip. Like whenever you're a so-called wrestling fan, you want to see a memorable clip or you want to see a memorable match promo. You don't see Cesaro and Nakamura. You don't see Biggie that much. There was also a 24/7 title where Tozawa pretended to be a dog and Truth pretended to be the dog owner. Reginald does some parkour. This is on some little kid shit from a different dimension, bro. It was fine. I don't find it harmless. I just feel like they needed more guys on it. Even though the belt doesn't really elevate you, and it's not even a must have. Like if you win it, your income increases. Uh you get a double every day that you hold it or every hour that you hold it. Make it more must have. Plus it gets everybody involved. Just saying. So Duja faced off against Eva Marie after the collapse in her match against Alex. I think that happened last week, and Dewdrop absolutely destroyed her. Didn't even ring the bell, and she attacked, hit a splash, got the win, and ended with her declaring Eva Marie unable to compete tonight, and announcing Dewdrop as a winner. So literally just ended in a pre-match assault, wasting everybody's time, and it barely took the bare minimum of build other than Dewdrop got assaulted. I mean, was abused. Next up, we had Humberto Carrillo carrying across with his sex dungeon mask and, his BDMX gear. I understand you're trying to be like, he's dark, brooding, murderous. Why don't you just give him, black gloves? Just give him some long black tights and some black gloves with some glasses and some red lighting in his entrance. He looks like a savage murderer. He looks like somebody unpredictable. You don't make him look like he just came from getting pegged by Scarlet, even though he might enjoy it. Be that as that may, it looks stupid. He had like a 8-minute match against Humberto Carrillo, a guy that never even won a championship in the WWE. Is a jobber, doesn't do much, can't talk, looks sweaty. He looks like he's 14 and trying to grow a beard. Moonsault, back suplex, back suplex. At least he isn't squashing. He hasn't having 50-50 matches with Keith Lee or Jeff Hardy for the umpteenth time. At least let him beat up no names. Like give him handicap matches. Give him a couple matches. Hell, make him squash people that make the stipulation for him. Make him look like he's a guy that can beat you in any situation. That would be cool. And then we, of course, we got Charlotte and Nia Jax, and everybody said this was a shoot match, bro. This was such an awkward match. Nothing was on the line. This match was like 30 minutes. They were just work, shoot, shoot punch, forearm. There was a moonsault, Samoan drop. There was a slingshot cross body that was pretty fine, and it ends with a disgusting power bomb. Commentator were at least always invested in the last 2 minutes of the match, and it was fine. Pretty good match. Overcarried out Charlotte. Nia Jax in like awkward segments didn't even know what she was doing, if she needed to pull the punch or like needed to go over a spot, and it looked bad, really bad. Like Nia Jax just is too fucking sloppy, and the whole gear itself, where she just has pieces of her meat flaps just out of her gear, it looks so gross, bro. Ugh. Omos against Morrison. Omos squashed Morrison. Don't know what happened later on. So Morrison at the Miz until they repackage it, so they're trying to do the storyline. Why is Johnny so Morrison, the Shaman of Sexy, Mr. Monday Nights, guys that already has nickname and physical charisma, because I know he can't talk that well. The guy already can sell himself. People know who John Morrison is in the WWE sphere. So don't know how you can already just give him Johnny Drip Drip, even though he doesn't dress trendy. He's like 40, and he behaves like he's in a Disney XD episode, and he's just bad. He drops him with a spine buster, like Omos squashes him. Like nothing in this. Styles is then later has a match against Xavier Woods, and it was a 16-minute work rate match where there was no story involved other than they came in the post match after RK Bro beat him for the tag titles. So that was about it. Don't know where Kofi Kingston is. Probably finding a way to fix his chest. It ended with a calf crusher. When Xavier was reaching the ropes, there was a bunch of insecurities at DDT. The regular spots where it felt like you're never doing anything unique. And it ends up with Styles picking up over the victory. And then they awkwardly transition into RK Bro having their main event with Lashley. They also had a camera like put over to, hey, how you feel about what Orton did? What Lashley's your son? Lashley's a son of a bitch, and I'm gonna beat him. Oh man, bro, I don't really care. I mean, at least they're trying to interpersonalize that this probably will happen. For RK Bro versus MVP, so I don't know why you broke over her business. Like MVP and Shelton and Cedric are now jobbers. Honestly, they could have made at least some development for themselves. But no, they don't do that. They want to make sure they break up something as soon as they have something that's actually getting spoken positively about that. But that's beside of a yearly rant that everybody's going to go through at the end of the year, because we are at September now, folks. So just knowing that you break up a major heel faction that would actually take some storylines with Lashley being the world champion that could have took up most of the year, you break them up in just a few months. I applaud WWE for fucking. Other than this, the main event was pretty tame. We had to send Brenton, Big Boo. MVP got bare minimum heat because they don't know what gets heat anymore. Literally, they don't even sell the fact that Lashley's been inhumane or he's a different monster, that he dismantled and possibly disabled Goldberg. They should be selling that after he fucked up his leg like most of the time over the match. And they don't do that. Like you see Lashley walking fine in the little interview we had. Like they should be selling that this man destroys legends. He beats up their own children. Like you should be showing that this guy is just a hired gun or just a living weapon. You gotta sell these guys. WWE. Like, you don't have a lot of star power. You want to sell whoever you guys can sell. It's not just having two words combined. You put it on a T-shirt. You got RK, and it's just uh. Well, the match was average. I'll give it that. The match was pretty alright for a main event. At least it was different. I wish there was more drama put into this, but average main event. They're probably gonna have MVP versus Riddle or MVP versus Orton. Something to like stretch out because they never want to actually make sure Raw every week is fun to watch. Dropkick, RKO. After Riddle literally got interfered off MVP off the floating bro, it and RKO was hit on Lashley. RK Bro picks up the win. They get over. Decent win to send everybody off happy tonight. That night. Sorry. Forgot this is coming late. But the show was pretty alright. I'll give it like a 5. A change of pace. Everything felt like they're getting built over because we know they're doing Lashley and Miz. We know that they're possibly going to do something still for Jinder and his jobber faction. Carrying Cross is still getting built up. The main event is feeding over. And the U.S. title actually will have more attention with probably McIntyre there. So that's technically it. I still don't like the chemistry with RK Bro. They need to edge out more of the show. Like, you can make subtle jokes. You don't have to make fully edgy jokes. You can make subtle jokes. Nothing's wrong with that. Like, you're making now Riddle come from he's supposed to be a weirdo pot gamer into just a probably dropped out of high school idiot. And that can be fine for some, but there's barely anything you can make out of that. You should be making him a cocky surfer Californian. Like, he already sells it out. The guy has abs. He has an MMA record. He's laid back. He talks shit. You take advantage of that. And yeah, this show was all right. But yeah, that's it coming from me. If the show is shit, I'll tell you that the show is shit. If the show's mediocre, it's mediocre. But this was average, and average is better than below average. Take that as you will. Not everything, all because it had like two good matches, it means it's a 7 out of 10. That's a weird rating. Then you really don't care. I understand that's your opinion, but you know you shouldn't be rating stuff at this point. You can say that the show is good. You can say that the show is good. Just don't give it a 7 when you don't really estimate all the factors into a 3-hour show. But that's it coming from me. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the review, and subscribe if you want to see more. I have a bunch of content, and have a secondary channel called Sideline Production. Uh, don't know when that's going to be in progress until my co-host is actually prepared. But besides the point, thanks for taking your time to watch the video. That's it for me.